सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अखण्डं सच्चिदानन्दम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम् आत्मानमखिलाधारम् आश्रये भीष्टसिद्धये अर्थतोऽप्यद्वयानन्दान् अतीतद्वैतभानतः गुरूणाराध्य वेदान्त सारं वक्ष्ये यथामति। So we are seeing the sadhanas. Acha, wo summary here? Okay.
Address is chapter 5, the sadhanas on Aparoksha Jnanam, 4 sadhanas, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasnam and Samadhi. Shravanam, Mananam was completed, we discussed that. Nididhyasnam is what we are talking at present. Just to recap, by Shravanam we get Tattparya Nishchaya of the vision of the Vedanta through Shadlinga, and by Shravanam the Pramana Samshaya is removed and Shruti Virodha is removed. Then Mananam follows Shravanam. It is based on what is heard in Shravanam, and Shravanam is the non-dual Brahman, which is the Tattparya which arrived at in Shravanam. There may be doubts about it, and those doubts are removed in Mananam. So Mananam is a cognitive, is yukti based. So in Mananam there is the two things happen. There is a resolution of the doubts which have been raised by other means of knowledge. The doubts raised by other means of knowledge like prediction, etc. Regarding what has been talked about in Shravanam. And one important aspect here was that it should be Shruti Anuguna Yukti. The Yukti should be based on Shruti Pramana. Why? Because the data required for Anumanam has to be about Atma, and Atma Vishaya is only talked about by Shruti, and the others talk about Anatma. So that is why we have to do, it has to be either Shukatapatti or Shruti based Anumanam. And by Mananam we get Prameya Samshaya Nivritti and also Shruti Yukti Virodha. Now we are presently on the topic of Nididhyasnam. Nididhyasnam, to say it in short, is a constant flow of thought regarding the subject matter which we have arrived at through Shravanam, through Shadlinga, and of which the doubts have been removed through Mananam. And the Nididhyasnam is of two types: Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasnam, which is conventional Nididhyasnam, meditation, which leads to absorption, which is using Ashtanga Yoga. And the other one is Brahma or Jnana Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasnam, which is actually just constantly dwelling whenever possible on the thoughts of Atma and without following Ashtanga Yoga. And here in Vedanta Sara, Samadhi Rupa Abhyasa Nididhyasnam is talked about. And the definition given is Vijatiya Dehadi Pratyaya Rahita Advitiya Vastu Sajatiya Pratyaya Pravaha. The constant flow of thought. There's two aspects here: constant flow of thought regarding the non-dual Brahman, constant flow of similar thoughts regarding non-dual Brahman, and which is without any distractions of dissimilar thoughts like Dehadi, etc. And this is then further elaborated. Further, there's another definition, Vedanta in Vedanta Paribhasha, which says Nidhyasnam Nama Anadi Durvasanaya Akrishyamanasya Chittasya Vishebhya Apakrishya Atma Vishayaka Stairanukula. In this, Stairanukula, that's all.
That's what?
Because Nidhyasana Nama I started with. Stairanukula. Manasa Vyapara. All these three, I forgot to mention. All these three
That is the main thing, it is Manasa Vyapara.
I forgot to mention. All these three, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana, are mental activities. All the three are mental activities.
Good. Compensating part.
So here there are two aspects. One is that is keeping the mind steadily, the steadiness of the mind in the thoughts of Atma. That means the mind being the integration of the mind with the Atma thoughts. How is it done? By withdrawing the mind completely from the thoughts of Anatma, which are the ones which we have, which are there in the mind because of the beginningless unhealthy tendencies. That is due to samskaras, and these samskaras can be removed by nididhyasana. So the benefit of nididhyasanam, I mean, in saying the benefit, you say what it is not also. So the first thing is that it's not a mystical experience where something
It
is
is
going to
not
happen.
for mystical experience.
Not for having a mystical experience, because nothing is going to happen. It's
No, you don't say nothing is going to happen.
No mystical experience is going to happen.
Correct. Something has to happen. Because otherwise, Nishpala Pravrutti Syat.
Nothing is happening in the form of a mystical experience.
Nothing mystical is going
It's
to
going to
happen.
happen. It is a growing clarity of understanding. And
Clarity
also
and assimilation.
growing clarity of understanding and gradual assimilation of the mind, of the vision of
Assimilation
Vedanta,
of what?
in the mind of the vision of Vedanta.
Okay. No, because I heard graduation of the mind.
Of the mind. I said of the mind, but it should be in the mind. In the mind of the vision of Vedanta. Then the
Slowly you tell, otherwise you will commit this type of mistake.
I always feel I have to be in a hurry with Swamiji, you know.
No,
The
no.
current gets to be slow.
No, you see, he tells slowly only.
Yeah, I know, but
But you elaborate
to
so
say,
many things which are not required.
Yeah,
You don't have to tell fast.
Yeah.
Only thing you should be able to precise and to the point.
The second,
Slowly.
yeah.
Slowly you tell.
The second one is that it does not create any new knowledge by Nididhyasanam, because whatever is already learned through Shravanam and Mananam, that alone is assimilated or integrated in the mind during Nididhyasanam. And the third one is Viparita Bhavana Nivritti.
That is what third?
That is second one. This is third one. Viparita Bhavana Nivritti.
The first two are what?
First is mystical experience. Second is new
This
knowledge.
is not, it should not come as a third, no?
Which one? This should be third also, no? Right?
So, Viparita Bhavana Nivritti is also not expected.
I said purpose and not purpose. This is expected. Yeah,
So,
correct.
you cannot put them in one
These two are
category.
not expected. And
So, now you have to start with first. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Not clear or clear?
Clear.
So, it is not third. So, what is not expected is two things.
Two things.
Now, what is expected? First thing.
First, so what is expected?
That's what happens when you.
What is the purpose of Nididhyasanam is firstly Viparita Bhavana Nivritti. And in this Viparita Bhavana Nivritti is the habitual errors which are there in the mind. They are habitual.
Viparita Bhavana Nivritti is not habitual.
No, removal of habitual errors in the mind. And habitual errors are in the form of wrong understanding or false opposite understanding of the vision of Vedanta. So this opposite understanding is removed by Nididhyasanam. And how is this done? It is done by, these understandings are in the form of samskaras in the unconscious mind, and by Atma Visheka Jnanam, which is constantly flowing into the conscious mind. The mind is percolated with the thoughts of Atma, and these
What is it? Mind?
mind is percolated or is full of thoughts of Atma.
Percolated is different.
No, percolating is going down. Is pervaded by the thoughts
Saturated,
of Atma.
okay. Saturated.
Is saturated with the thoughts of Atma, which percolates to the subconscious, and removes the viparita bhavanas, which are there. And so by this process, the Nidhyasana helps to remove habitual errors. And the third one, you were just talking about Nishta.
Second or second?
Second one is Nishta Jnana, which is yet to be talked about.
Second also we talk. What is the second?
The second one is refinement of.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, refinement.
It's okay. Refinement of
Thinking and behavior.
habitual thinking. Refinement of thinking pattern and habitual pattern of thinking and behavior. Okay. What is the difference between Viparya and Viparita Bhavana?
We translate Viparya as wrong conclusions and Viparita Bhavana as habitual wrong conclusions. Now, why this difference is made is because Viparya is there due to ignorance of some fact, and Viparita Bhavana is there in spite of the knowledge of that fact. Thus, Viparya is there in an ignorant person, whereas Viparita Bhavana is there even in a person who has got this logical conviction, the conviction regarding I am Brahma. And Viparya is removed by Shravanam, and Viparita Bhavana is removed by Nididhyasana.
So why after removing Viparya, Viparita Bhavana continues?
Yes. Because there is a strong the conclusion which is there in the unconscious is still not changed. At the conscious level, the Viparya is removed, but the Viparita Bhavana, which is an effect, which can be an effect or which is in the unconscious, due to which the effect is the effect itself.
What will you say?
During provoking situations, we do not respond by what we know consciously.
What is the question you are answering?
Why after removing Viparya, Viparita Bhavana still has to be removed?
I did not say that.
It's still there.
It's still there.
Still be removed, you are answering.
Okay.
I did not ask that. Therefore I
So, even though our thinking or the thoughts at the conscious mind have been changed, that has not percolated down to the subconscious till now, and therefore Viparita Bhavana is still there.
You have to add one sentence. Viparita Bhavana is at the subconscious level. You add that, then it becomes complete. And this Viparya Nivritti has happened in the conscious mind. And therefore Viparita Bhavana continues. Like the ground, the first floor water has come, the ground floor it has not come. Okay. And in other words, we can say that Viparita Bhavanas are in the form of samskaras. And samskaras do not go away by mere knowledge. Viparya goes by knowledge. But samskara doesn't go by knowledge. Samskara requires the repetition of the knowledge in the mind. Okay. But this we are talking for Madhyam Adhikari. For Uttam Adhikari, once Viparya goes, then because of the purity of the mind, the Viparita Bhavana also goes. Because his Viparita Bhavana has been so thinned because of other samskaras also. And therefore, Viparya Nivritti and Viparita Bhavana Nivritti are almost simultaneous or simultaneous. But for most of the people, they require one more operation, and that is this Dehatma Samskara, Viparita Bhavana, Nivritti. They require the Nivritti of Dehatma Samskara. Dehatma Jnanam is removed, but Dehatma Samskara is to be removed because Dehatma Jnanam, which is a Bhranti, goes away by knowledge. But Dehatma Samskara doesn't go. And Viparita Bhavana is in the form of Dehatma Samskara. Therefore it has not gone. Is it clear? Okay. Alright, so we were seeing this Nididhyasanam. Vijatiya Dehadi Pratyaya Rahita Advitiya Vastu Sajatiya Pratyaya Pravaha Nididhyasanam. And this Nididhyasanam, first benefit we have seen, Nididhyasanam, that it removes the Viparita Bhavana. And Viparita Bhavana Nivrutti is in the form of shift of identity. From the Dehadi, my identity is shifted back rather, and we can say shifted back in a way, to Satchidananda Atma. So far I was considering myself to be as good as the body. So my Aham Bhava, my sense of identity was in the body. My sense of identity was in the mind, Buddhi. Now, Viparita Bhavana Nivrutti means my sense of identity is shifted to Satchidananda Brahma. And it also implies that I do not judge myself, evaluate myself based on the conditions of the body-mind sense complex. And second benefit is the change in my way of thinking, means pattern of thinking and pattern of behavior. Before successful Nididhyasanam, I was looking upon myself as victimized, inferior, struggling to become somebody. His thinking was that I have to prove myself, I have to defend myself. So the thinking was very defensive thinking. And Pujya Swamiji used to say that ninja attitude. All the time ready to fight, I have to fight, you know. Jindagi ek yuddha hai, like that. Life is a battle. And that you must have heard, life is a battle. So that type of thinking was there. And behavior also was there. For small things you will be fighting with people. For small things you will be running after. And so his behavior was prompted by Raga and Dvesha. Prompted by fear, concern, anxiety. And sometimes even after getting knowledge, if this Viparita Bhavana was not removed, then even after knowledge, this behavior continued to a very large extent. The old behavior continued. But after this Viparita Bhavana Nivrutti, the way of thinking is changed. I do not look upon karma as the means for moksha. I do not look upon myself as bound, who has to be freed. I do not look upon the world as something to be exploited, or the world as the victimizer. My attitude is changed. And my behavior also is changed. Because attitude is changed, my behavior will change. My behavior is no more to prove myself. My behavior is not to accumulate things to be fulfilled. Therefore, there is change in behavior. Behavior is not, or any action is not for completion, for fulfillment. Action is either along with fulfillment or out of fulfillment. Out of fulfillment means what? When there is a fulfillment, there is compassion and love. So out of compassion and love, there will be behavior. Or along with fulfillment, there will be behavior. So earlier I used to work for fulfillment. Now I work I act along with fulfillment or out of fulfillment. This is the change in the behavior. And this change in the behavior and thinking pattern, if I want to know whether I am going in right direction, then we in Bhagavad Gita we have a list. Sthita Prajna Lakshana. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmanyevatmana tushtaha sthita prajnastaduchyate dukkheshu anudvigdamanaha sukheshu vigataspruha. Then vita raga bhaya krodha sthita dirmuni ruchyate yas sarvatran abhisneha tat tat prapya shubhashubham. So all these are the expressions of change of behavior and thinking pattern. Yes, sarvatra anabhisneyaha is not attached to anything, not elated, not depressed. Thus, change in the thinking pattern and behavior will happen. And as Swami Paramarthananda says, FIR will be reduced. Reduced tends to zero. Frequency, intensity and restoration time of reaction is reduced to almost zero. So this is the change in the behavior. It will happen. It is not that person has to struggle a lot. If he is doing Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam or Dana Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam, this happens. If it doesn't happen, he is not practicing it properly. Like some efficacious medicine, doctor is so confident, if you take it well, it will definitely help. If it doesn't help, means you are not taking properly. Doctor has so confidence. Similarly, if Nididhyasanam is done well, if of course Shravanam and Mananam have been done properly. That's what we mean, that Nididhyasanam properly. So if Shravana Manana are done, and then Tabhyam Nirvichikitse Arthe Chetasah Sthapanam, if that type of Nididhyasanam is happening, then definitely there will be change in behavior. In our life we see that earlier we had some type of thinking, and that because of that our behavior was different. Our understanding of the world, our understanding of success was different. Our understanding of fulfillment was different. Therefore our thinking pattern was different. We used to think that more money means more happiness and a greater job is the one which pays more. That is how we used to think. Better activities are those which pay you more. Now we don't think in terms of that. We don't think of Shravanam we do more money, we'll get Mananam we get less money, so do Shravanam. Like that we don't think. Our way of thinking is different. Our behavior, our area of action is different. Even the Google we visit is also area different. Different you can see. So much difference is there. Some may be continuing, but there will be definitely change. Now you will be visiting the websites of all the Sanskrit document.com, etc. Earlier some different .com. So that there is a change. It will happen. And Nididhyasanam brings that. And when a person has attained the change, means a refinement of behavior and thinking to very large extent, then slowly his focus will change. And that is, he will think or she will think, and her contemplation will be more on Nitya Mukta Swarupa of Atma, rather than focusing the pattern of the mind, pattern of behavior. And the second benefit which we said, the refinement of the thinking pattern and behavior pattern, is the mind-centered liberation, mind-centered freedom, the mind-centered moksha. And this is very, very gradual. And that also is required. But that is not the focus of Vedanta. That is not the ultimate focus of Vedanta. The real freedom is not the mind-based freedom. Mind-based freedom means what? Becoming free from raga-dvesha, becoming free from anxiety, etc. That is of course required. That also is given by Nididhyasana. But that is not the final freedom. Final freedom is contemplating and owning up by contemplation, as a result of contemplation, that I am Nitya Muktaha. I am not the mind which is improving. I am the Sakshi of the mind which is improving. The mind can improve, and sometimes it is nice if it improves. But I am the one who cannot improve, who need not improve. Because I am Purnaha, I am Nitya Muktaha. So here focus is not on the change of behavior or change of the thinking pattern. Whatever the mind thinks, I am Sakshi of the mind which thinks the way it thinks, the way it does. And then there is Nitya Mukta Brahmatma Jnana Nishtha. Nitya Mukta Brahmatma Jnana Nishtha. That is the final benefit of Nididhyasana. Where focus is not, or evaluation of Nididhyasana is not based on the refinement of the pattern of thinking, refinement of the pattern of behavior. Now, focus is on owning up myself to be Nitya Muktaha, irrespective of the condition of the mind or the body. Just as I do not evaluate my freedom based on the condition of the body. That is very clear. It becomes very clear. We cannot say that a person who is very healthy is muktaha and person who is sick is bound. Even many people think like this. If you are a wise person, how can you fall sick? If you are a great guru, then you must not be. You should be like Vivekananda. Vivekananda also had so many problems, health problems. Some 32 diseases he had. But he was looking, especially in picture we have seen him. So we think that a wise person should not fall sick. Why a wise person should fall sick? He should be free from all problems. All problems are psychosomatic. And so he should be free from psychic problems. Therefore he should be free from physical problems. Not necessary. So just as we don't connect our freedom with the physical condition, similarly we don't connect our freedom with mental condition. Based on the feelings, I do not make any judgment about my freedom. We don't say, oh, nowadays there are some sadness, or there is some anxiety, or there is some dullness. Therefore, how can I be muktaha? That these two things are not connected. Different. It is like a rich man. Do you think that every rich man should be healthy only? No. You cannot say that he is a rich man, how can he be sick? He has all money. He can take all treatment. And most of the rich men are sick only. So, there is no such thing. Similarly, my freedom has nothing to do with my freedom. My being free has nothing to do with physical condition, mental condition. But this type of contemplation is highlighted and focused on primarily or exclusively after getting some refinement. Not in the initial stage. It is something like initially child has to be told you go study 1 hour, 2 hours, you used to study. Initially we are told like this study time. We have every house they will have a study time. Now it is study time. But once you grow into college and all that, your mother doesn't say, are you studying a study time or not? You don't get it. So initially required. So even through Nididhyasanam, first we get this benefit of the refinement of behavior and thinking pattern. But after there is sufficient refinement. Sufficient refinement means what? When we have refinement which is enough for keeping us in Nididhyasanam. Because we get, at what is called inappropriate point, if we give up and we allow the body, senses, mind to let loose, then we will be deviated from the very sadhana of Nididhyasanam, which was required. If you give up Nididhyasanam when Nididhyasanam is required, there is a loss. If you give up or you outgrow Nididhyasanam when it is not required, it is alright. But Pujya Swamiji should nicely say, he said whatever he thinks will be Nididhyasanam only. Because he never loses sight of when Nididhyasanam is successful. In the background this thinking is that I am Brahman, this is Mithya Prapanchaha. That is called Dana Nishtha. And whatever Dana Nishtha thinks, it is Nididhyasanam. Yatra yatra manoyati tatra tatra samadaya. And therefore he had outgrown the need for Nididhyasanam. In fact, whatever he does is as good as Nididhyasanam. Not in formal sense, but effectively that is what it is. Because he never loses sight of Atma being Brahma and Jagat being Mithya. And thus, the third benefit is Nitya Mukta Brahmatma Jnana Nishtha. Means what? There is no Kartavyata Buddhi, even in Nididhyasanam. Where I don't feel that, I have to do Nididhyasanam. Morning time I have kept it. That is not, he may be doing Nididhyasanam. He may be doing japa also perhaps. He may do prayer also. He may do, but he did not do. Like a person who has lot of money, he doesn't have to earn, but he can earn also. In fact, somebody was telling, one rich man, a relatively rich man, he was telling, Swamiji, when we have lot of money, we think that it is nice to, invest that. So, even though we don't require, but that is how it is. So, of course, they may have sometimes the greed. But afterwards, really, it doesn't matter. See, if you have got 10 billion rupees or dollars, whether you got 10 billions or 100 billions, your roti will be 2 rotis only, whatever you are eating, you will eat. And how much you can spend? So, afterwards, it is not for that. It is just, he has happened to be there, he continues to be there. To some extent, there some greed is possible, ego, etc. is possible. Similarly, a wise person has outgrown the need for any sadhana. But being in a particular setup, he may be doing. And because of the past samskaras, he does and he doesn't contradict. Because he has got the vision. What? I am Nitya Mukta Brahma. And because of samskara, he goes to the temple every day, morning, evening. He doesn't feel anything small. See, some people know those who want to show themselves off as a wise person, he has to remember. See, wise person, he doesn't look nice, for a wise person doesn't look nice. If I go to the temple, what people will think? If I do namaskara to my Guruji, what people will think? So he has to always remember, wise person doesn't do. Wise person doesn't have to remember that I am a wise person. So he doesn't carry the load of being a wise person. In fact, the load of being a wise person is a bondage. He becomes pretentious. So he or she may be doing. And we cannot say that he cannot do, or we cannot say he should do. Naiva tasya krutena arthaha na akrutena iha kasyana. Akrutena api kasyan artha na. By not doing also it doesn't serve any purpose. Otherwise some position you should not do this, You should not put your asana, somebody should be there. Even if somebody is not there, you should leave it, and keep seeing who is putting, who is doing. You just do it, matter ends there. But complex. Anyway, so third benefit is Nitya Mukta Brahmatma Jnana Nishtha. Means I ever remain in this wisdom that I am ever free. I don't have to become free, I am ever free. I was free, I am free, I cannot but be free. This is the benefit of Nididhyasana. And now the next topic is Samadhi. Okay, we'll read. Samadhi dvividah savikalpakaha nirvikalpaha cha iti. Samadhi dvividah. He starts like Samadhi dvividah. First he should say, okay, Samadhi kaha. For Nididhyasana everything definition he gave. Anyway, we will give the definition. What is Samadhi? Chittasya Jneyatmana or Dhyeyatmana Nishchalavasthanam Samadhi. Chittasya Jneyatmana or Dhyeyatmana Nischala Avasthanam. Means Chittasya Avasthanam. The mind remaining or abidance of the mind. What type of abidance? Nischala. Nischala means distraction free. Without any deviation, distraction. So distraction free abidance of the mind. Jneyatmana as Jneyam Brahma, Brahmatma or Dhyeyatma as Brahman which is contemplated upon. So Samadhi is the distraction free state of the mind as Brahmatma, as Brahma. In simple words, it is called mental absorption in the object of meditation. Generally, this Samadhi is not mentioned separately, as we have seen earlier. Only 3 sadhanas are talked about: Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. Why it is not talked about separately? Samadhi is not talked about because Samadhi is a natural process when a person does Nididhyasanam for a length of time. When Nididhyasanam done for a length of time as it should be done, then a person will glide into Samadhi. So he starts what he tries to do is what? Nididhyasanam. But he ends up in Samadhi. Is it clear? Similarly, ecstasy, ecstasy, let me get ecstasy. You cannot struggle to get ecstasy. You glide into that. It happens. So Samadhi is something that happens when Nididhyasanam is done. And therefore it is not separately mentioned. But to show that Samadhi, which is a mature form of Nididhyasanam, is available and it is something to be entertained. Therefore, Samadhi is talked about. So there is some mature state of Nididhyasanam and it is to be entertained. It's worth aspiring for. Therefore it is talked about. But one need not worry about when Samadhi will happen, when Samadhi will happen. It happens. In fact, your anxiety to have Samadhi will keep you away from Samadhi. Like I told you, that one person was told that you take this Ayurveda treatment, but if you are anxious to be alright, you will not be alright. That's wonderful thing. I really love that. Your anxiety to be alright, because that disease that person has is because of anxiety. Some stomach issue. So, if you are anxious, you are going against the treatment. But the person was saying that Swamiji, it is very natural not to expect. So you can expect, but don't insist. Remain prayerful. So that's what, how this Karma Yoga spirit is important, we can understand even at that level. Anyway, similarly here, also, I keep doing Nididhyasanam. And Nididhyasanam, what happens? There is a tug of war. My mind will be going outside, I will bring it back. Goes outside, bring it back. But when that struggle is over, then Vikshepa is not there. Mind is now remaining in the object of meditation. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. That type of thought remains continuously without any distraction. So that is called mental absorption in the object of meditation. And that is called Samadhi. Samyak adhiyate manaha yasmin saha samadhi. Samadhi is a pullinga shabda, okay? Hindi and all this Samadhi kaisi lagi hai, aisa bolte hai. Samadhi is that thing Strilinga. In Sanskrit it is Pullinga. In vernacular it is Strilinga. In Gujarati, Hindi, कैसी लगी समाधि, कैसी हुई? Marathi also is a Strilinga. Strilinga. But in Sanskrit it is Pullinga. Okay. So, Samyak adhiyate manaha yasmin. The state in which the mind is absorbed in the object of meditation, that is called Samadhi. And this Samadhi, which is Chittasya Gneyatmana Dhyayatmana Nishchalavasthanam, this Samadhi is of two types. So now only we are entering into the Vedanta Sara statement. So far we were just doing the preparatory exercise. So Samadhi first we have to understand. And that we understood. And now Samadhi Dvividaha. This Samadhi, the mental absorption in the, I was about to say mental absorption of the mind, mental absorption of the mind, mental absorption in the object of meditation is Dvividaha, of two types. So Samadhi is of two types. What are they? Savikalpakaha, Nirvikalpaha cha. Sometimes Nirvikalpakaha also can be said, but Nirvikalpaha. The Nirvikalpana, so minimum. So Nirvikalpaha. So Nirvikalpaha, Savikalpakaha cha. And in Sampradaya, in yoga language, it is called Sampragnata Samadhi and Asampragnata Samadhi. So Savikalpasya Yoga Shastriya Sangha Sampragnata Samadhi. Nirvikalpa is Asampragnata Samadhi. We'll understand all the terms. Okay. So Savikalpaha, Savikalpakaha means what? Vikalpena saha vartate iti savikalpakaha. The meditation, the absorption which is endowed with, involves vikalpa, the division, is called savikalpakaha. Like saputraha. So similarly, savikalpakaha. Saputrakaha. Similarly, savikalpakaha. So vikalpena saha vartate iti savikalpakaha. And vikalpa here means division. What type of division? Dhyata, dhyanam, dhyeya. This triad. Meditator, meditation, and the object of meditation. This division, this triad, is called vikalpaha. So savikalpakaha samadhi means the mental absorption where this division of meditator, meditated, and meditation is evident, manifest, appearing. Means what? Even though the mind is absorbed in the object of meditation, but still there is deliberation, awareness. I am meditating. I am meditating on Brahma. And so there is deliberation. And minimum, but effort is there. Deliberation is there. Effort is just to maintain it. It is something like, when you start from your home to the highway, you have to maneuver so much your steering wheel. So much you have to maneuver. That is like Nididhyasanam. Now we have come to the highway and it is straight road. But still you have to keep your hands on the steering wheel. So savikalpaka samadhi is like keeping the hands on steering wheel. It means you cannot let it loose. But the way you are maneuvering when you are coming from your home to the highway, that is not there. Only just keeping the hands. So savikalpaka samadhi, there is some deliberation and there is awareness of dhyata, dhyana, dhyeya. That samadhi is called savikalpaka samadhi. So nididhyasanam matures into savikalpaka samadhi. After a long practice of nididhyasanam, one glides into savikalpaka samadhi, where absorption is there, but at the same time awareness of this triad is there. Mainly subject-object division. Okay. And what is nirvikalpa? It is very clear from savikalpa we can understand. When this division of dhyata, dhyana, dhyeya has become so subtle that it is not there as it were. It is as though non-existent. Means it is unmanifest. And that type of meditation where I am meditating on Brahma, that type of conscious thought is not there. That type of meditation or that type of absorption is called nirvikalpaka samadhi. So nirvikalpaka samadhi is that in which vikalpa, the division of meditator, meditation, meditated is not there. Means the awareness of I am meditator, etc. is not there. But it doesn't mean that this vritti of the mind is not there. Vritti is there. So dhyanam is there, and dhyanam is different from the dhyata. That is there. But the awareness of it is not there. Absorption is so complete that I am meditator, that cognition is not there. Dhyata, dhyana, dhyaya, triputi is there. Because the process, this meditation is happening, samadhi is happening. But the division is not manifest. So manifest division is not there, in which absorption is called nirvikalpaka samadhi or nirvikalpa samadhi on it. So now samadhi dvividaha savikalpaha nirvikalpaha cha iti. Now he defines the savikalpaka samadhi and then nirvikalpaka samadhi. So now we can understand nididhyasanam matures into savikalpaka samadhi, and savikalpaka samadhi matures into nirvikalpaka samadhi. One cannot say, let me start with nirvikalpa. One cannot do. People want that Swamiji, आप कुछ करके निर्विकल्प समाधि में पहुंचा दो. You make me reach निर्विकल्प समाधि. It doesn't happen. Nirvikalpaka samadhi happens. When you do nididhyasanam, you glide into savikalpa. Savikalpa is practiced for long time, then nirvikalpa. Yoga sevaya, yada viniyate chittam, niruddham yoga sevaya. Where does it come?
Bhagavad Gita,
6th chapter. So yoga sevaya. So we are reading one book, that Nyaya Rakshamani or something, on Siddhanta Viddu. There this topic is discussed, and there he says yoga sevaya means sampragnat samadhi abhyasena. So by the sampragnata one gets into nirvikalpa. So first nididhyasana practice, then goes into savikalpa. Savikalpa practice goes into nirvikalpa. And thus samadhi is of two types, savikalpaka and nirvikalpaka. Commonality between the two is what? Absorption of the mind. And the uncommonality is what? That in one the division is evident, in other words division is not evident. Alright. Now, savikalpa is defined. Tatra savikalpaka nama natrujnanadi vikalpalayanapeksaya slowly advitiya vastuni tadakarakaritayaha चित्तवृत्तेः अवस्थानम् तत्र means तयोः मध्ये सविकल्पक निर्विकल्पक समाध्योः मध्ये of those two. Tatra means of those two. Savikalpaka nama, savikalpaka samadhi nama. Savikalpaka samadhi, savikalpa translation is what? Absorption with awareness of division, or absorption with manifest division. Vikalpa means division. Alright. And what is the savikalpaka is chitta vruttehe avasthanam. Avasthanam is abidance, absorption, chitta vruttehe of the mind, of the thought of the mind. Mental thought, if we can have to say, which is Swamiji said, mental thought we did not say. Thought is always mental. But here chitta vritti they have given, therefore we say mental thought, mental conditions we can say, mental modification. Okay. So savikalpaka samadhi means abidance of the thought modification or abidance of mental condition. Abidance of mental condition. What type of mental condition? Tadakara karitayaha advitiya tadakara karitayaha. Tad refers to Advitiya Vastu, because that is there before that. So Tadakara Karita means Advitiya Vastu Akara Karitaya. Advitiya Vastvakara Karitaya. This word we have seen earlier. So the thought which has assumed, Akarita means assumed, Tadakara means Advitiya Vastu Akara. So the thought which has assumed the nature, shape of non-dual reality. Abidance of the thought which has assumed the shape or the nature of non-dual reality. Abidance of the thought, where is it? Advitiya Vastuni, in non-dual reality. So simple definition is Advitiya Vastuni Chitta Vrittehe Avasthanam. Abidance of the thought. Your thought means flow of thoughts. Abidance of the flow of thoughts in non-dual reality. And what do we mean by abidance of the thought in non-dual reality? Is it that the thought will be going and sitting on non-dual reality? No. Entertaining the thought regarding this non-dual reality is called the thought remaining in non-dual reality. Abidance of the thought in non-dual reality means the thought entertaining thoughts is entertaining regarding thoughts are entertained regarding non-dual reality. And this thought or a flow of thoughts, here Chitta Vritti Jato Ekvachanam, it's not one thought. Jato Ekvachanam. So thoughts, a flow of thoughts. So abidance of the flow of thoughts in non-dual reality is called Savikalpaka Samadhi. Alright. And Tadakara Karita we can translate as Brahmakarayaha. So Tadakara Karita Chitta Vritti means what? Brahmakara Chitta Vritti. Or Akhandakara Karita Chitta Vritti. Akhandakara Chitta Vritti. Brahmakara Chitta Vritti. And what is the content of the Brahmakara Chitta Vritti? Aham Brahmasmi. So Tadakara Karitayaha Chitta Vrittehe means Aham Brahmasmi iti Akaritayaha Chitta Vritti. The thought in the form of I am Brahma. The thought having the content I am Brahma. And when the flow of such thoughts is remaining in Advitiya Vastu, Anapekshaya, without expecting, without concerning, what? Laya, dissolution. Of what? Vikalpa, the division. Division of what? Gnatru. Gnatru means the knower. Here knower is in the sense of meditator. Meditator. Jnanam here means dhyanam, meditation. Adi means dheya, dheya. So abidance of the flow of thoughts in non-dual reality without expecting the dissolution of the division of meditator, meditation and meditated is called Savikalpaka Samadhi. Okay, this is how we have seen the word meaning. What does it mean? That flow of thoughts, there is avasthanam. Avasthanam is abidance. And avasthanam indicates what? Distraction-free state. Distraction-free state or distraction-free abidance of the flow of thoughts centered on non-dual reality. But this is common between the Samadhi, Savikalpa and Nirvikalpa. But one distinguishing factor is Laya Anapekshaya. So Samadhi in which there is no expectation, not involvement of laya, merger or dissolution of the division. So samadhi is there, absorption of the mind in non-dual reality is there, but the merger, the dissolution of the division of dhyata, dhyanam, dheya has not happened. Then that samadhi is called savikalpaka samadhi. Is it clear? So savikalpaka nama gnatru gnanadi vikalpalayana pekshaya, without expecting the dissolution of the division of gnatru gnanadi, advitiya vastuni, in non-dual reality, chitta vritte avasthanam, the abidance of the mind centered on the non-dual reality. And what type of chitta vritti it is? Tadakara karita, means advitiya vastva karita. So when the thoughts are brahmakara and they are remaining in Brahma, advitiya Brahma, without expecting this dissolution of division. And in positive manner, if we say what? The division is there. Laya is not there means what? The dissolution of division is not there means what? Division is there. So when there is an absorption of the mind in advitiya vastu with the division of meditator etc. is called savikalpaka samadhi. Okay. Now for that savikalpaka samadhi, the example is given. That how there is appreciation that I am Brahma, Advitiya Brahma, I am non-dual Brahma, and at the same time there is cognition of the dhyata, dhyana, dheya. वो खाते खाते बोलते हम तो खाते ही नहीं है. So it's like that. So here he is saying what? I am non-dual Brahman, but there is awareness of what? The division. So how is it possible? So that possible question is answered by the example, which we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.